Page 10, Musette. 2/4 time, 2 sharps. We're in the key of D major. All the F's and C's are sharpened. Let's take it one hand at a time and make sure we got the rhythm and fingering and all that. Up here to start, the 1 E and a 2 E and a, 16th notes. 1 E and a 2 E and a, 1 E and a 2 E and a. That's fine. The problem is going to the next measure because you're here and you got to move to here. You're coming down an octave. No rest or anything. You got to just do it. Once you finish this, you're here. Real quick. So it's... You may have to practice that move, but try and get there if you can. And then third measure. 1 E and a 2 E. And then you go back up for measure 5. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. So I'm playing everything connected more or less for now, and we'll do the staccatos and stuff later. The measure 9, you come up. See, if you repeat, you're going back up here. If you don't repeat, then you here. Second finger. 1 and 2 and reach up. I end up with second finger there just because it's comfortable. And going on, I recommend for measure 11 for that last E, use thumb. So you can cross over fourth finger. Reach down. See, this doesn't fall into the fingers real well, so it's just, again, measure 11 is here, and thumb, 4. If you use third finger on the B there in measure 12 if you want. Here, you can even use fourth finger if you want. Because that way it's easier to reach the thumb down. Here. And then measure 13. It's an octave up here. And then watch these accidentals and the counting. 1 and 2 and 3 and 1. And then they want fifth finger again. If you can, if you want, use thumb and then fourth. And that way you don't have to, that's kind of dangerous. It's not really a good fingering habit to get into, but if you just thumb here, 4. And now on measures, see you're ending measure 16 here, and now for measure 17, then what you hear. No. No, please don't do that. Very slowly, measure 16. You're here, last 2 notes. You're here, going on thumb, third. And then for measure 18, use little finger. But for measure 18, the first note, you play that with little finger if you can. And then here. And then reach down third finger here. This is measure 19. Third finger on the A, and then thumb, and then cross over third finger again. And then for measure 21, you're back to doing what you were doing at the beginning. Left hand, you're starting out with broken octaves, D's, D's. And then for the third measure, just come up. Now for measure 4, the last note. Here, I recommend a thumb. This way you're in position for the octaves again. Otherwise, you gotta jump. I don't recommend it. So measure 4, you're here. Thumb. Now you can do this. Crossover. Now for measure 8, the last note. Either a 3 or a 2, it's up to you. Because if you repeat, you got to come back down to here, and this way you're a little closer to it. If you go on, you're coming to here, and that way you're in position. So 3 or 2, whichever. 2 works fine, because when you go on, you're right there. So measure 9 is just octaves here, and this goes on forever until the end of measure 16, and then you come down here, E's, and they go on forever until measure 18. Don't forget the C sharp. on measure 20, the last note, a 2 again. It's like you did back on measure 8. When you were here, well here it's the same thing. Different notes, but the idea is the same because now we need to go down here again. Now we're in position for that. Then at the bottom, the last measure. Now if it's the second time you played it, because you see you're going to repeat this. If it's the second time you played it, you use 5th finger because you're done. But if you're going to repeat, then I recommend the 2nd finger because you're going to repeat back to measure 9 and you're on A's again. So there. Depends on whether you repeat or not. Put the hands together. Right there. That's the trick. Both hands are moving. But if you can, with the left hand, if you can just cross over and get it, it's not that way you can focus more on the right hand because you got to come to here. That's a jump. So again, see, as I'm playing this, after I've done that, I'm already reaching in the left hand. I'm ready. So all I got to do is focus on the right hand getting down there. So the second measure is, see, I'm all set to go. And that makes it a little less cumbersome. Thumbs both, because now I got to come here. But if I'm in position in the left hand, I can focus on the right. Let's go down to measure 9. You're here. Measure 18. Fingers work this out. It's a little tricky. 5th, here, here, and here, and here. You just gotta work that out real slow. You can gradually speed it up until you get the hang of it, and then you can go on. You can go as slow as you need to go. I may be going a bit fast. And go through and try and make these 8th note pulses steady. No hesitations anywhere, even when you repeat or go on or whatever. The 8th note pulses are steady. You can go as slow as you need to go. It takes, but they need to be steady all the way through. And once you have that, then we can add in the articulation. The lift up, short staccatos, wrist here, staccato both. The left hand is staccato, nice wrist staccato. Because this is staccato in the second measure, immediately after that I can get the left hand where it needs to go. And I am ready so that when the right hand finishes, I can just focus on it. That makes it a little easier too. So the second measure going on is here. So forth. Measure 9. Staccato in the left hand, but not the right. You have a tenuto there, a measure 10. Just hang on to that, just linger on that. They may want you to put a little more stress on it, but just hang on. And then the fun part starts on measure 13. The left hand has staccatos all the way through. The right hand has a combination of slurs and staccatos and ties, and it's just funner than anything. You're just going to love it. Measure 13. Now that D sharp is not staccato, so it's, but that is, so don't play these other notes staccato unless they're marked. They got to have a dot. So, tenuto on, linger on those, and then we go on to what we were doing at the beginning. So you put in the staccatos and slurs and stuff. Then we can think about the dynamics. F-P. Well, that tells you you're going to play it at least twice. The first time you play it, you're going to play it loud, and that's the right hand. Whatever you think loud. And then when you repeat it, you don't play it soft. It's like an echo. That means the left hand has to be really soft. Keep the left hand in the background all the time. That's the first time. Second time. And then when you get to measure 9, again F-P. So the first time you're going to play it loud in the right hand. The left hand's in the background. Then on measure 17, you're going to crescendo. I don't recommend you start loud and get very loud. I suggest here you come down to maybe a moderately, in between moderately loud and moderately soft. Just come down and then go back up to loud. Here, so there on measure 17. And the left hand just stays soft throughout. It's the right hand we're talking about. And then on measure 20 you come back down. And then you're loud here on measure 21. And that's loud both times. Yeah, because it's not an F-P, it's just F. Then when you repeat it on measure 9, now you're soft. The left hand's very soft. And then on measure 17, you can go ahead and start soft. You don't have to come down. You're soft already. And go up to about a moderately soft or so. Don't get too loud. Then go back down to soft. But on measure 21, even though it's the second time you've been soft, now you're still loud. You end it loud. Speed-wise, Allegro, I disagree with Allegro. This has got too many funky hand movements. It has to be controlled and even. So, however fast you can handle this kind of stuff, that's your speed. Don't go beyond that. Don't sacrifice accuracy for speed. I'd like to play this with you very slowly to double check the notes and the rhythms. I'm not going to do any dynamics. I will do the repeats though. So I'll give us 4 counts and let's try it together very slowly. Now because this piece seems to have an 8th note pulse to it, I'm going to put the metronome on 8th notes rather than quarter notes. So we'll just think of a 1 and 2 and. So I'm going to give us 2 counts, two quarter note counts or 4 8th notes. I go 1 and ready, go, and then we go. So let's go. 1 and ready, go.